I wanted to backtrack a little bit to something you said about like cold and flu season, or
Mhm.
if we're heading into that right now. So with that, I just remember growing up as a kid. It's like, oh, chicken noodle soup, lots of fruit and orange juice, right, for the vitamin C, and all these things that and parents, we don't really know any better, right? Like you just
Yeah,
that's what you see, and you feed it to them. So hearing what you've been talking about and diving into some of your research, if somebody is starting to feel like a cold or a flu or a virus, or they for sure have a cold or flu or virus or something
yeah.
like that, what is the best way nutritionally to go about that? Should they fast? Should they have more fat? Should they eat bone broth protein? Like, what should we be
Yeah.
doing?
So bone broth is beautiful. So maybe not like the Campbell's chicken noodle soup can or the gluten-based noodles, but bone broth would be fabulous. There has been research done on bone broth itself. A lot of the mechanisms we see is actually that the NAC or N-acetylcysteine. There's a high amount of cysteine in bone broth, and this is a natural expectorant, which can basically break up mucus and phlegm. NAC can also increase white blood cell response, which your white blood cells are your initial immune responder. That's really kind of what will go upregulated or in overproduction mode once we are exposed to a virus or any form of pathogen. So there's definitely mechanisms, and then not to mention the influence of bone broth on our neurological system with glycine, which can convert to GABA and help to keep us feeling super calm but cognitively aware. There's, of course, glutamine, which is an amino acid that supports our gut cells and can repair leaky gut. So I think that doing a bone broth fast would be absolutely appropriate. I think that companies like Fond Bone Broth make it really easy with these lovely elixir jars that you can just heat up. If you can get three of those jars in a day, you're at least going to be skating on like 50 grams of protein. So you're not going to be super catabolic. You're also getting a great electrolyte blend, which is important with the sodium and potassium in there. And then you're also going to be getting that white blood cell and NAC boost. So I think that would be lovely. But generally, I do say yes, fasting a fever or a virus, just like if we follow the habits of nature, we'll see like our animals skip eating, or like a wolf would go off in the woods and just kind of lay down and sleep for a couple days. That's all very appropriate. Let your body actually upregulate that autophagy or that cellular cleanup system, and don't force feed. And if you are force feeding anything, it should lead with protein or therapeutics. And the last thing introduced should be carbs. So, unfortunately, the orange juice, getting vitamin C in maybe like your orange zest could be very good. So, like zesting the peel of a citrus and incorporating that into your water, lemon, potentially with like olive oil and or honey, especially if having itchiness in the throat. Vitamin C has absolutely favorable research behind it on immune response as well as anti-inflammatory and antioxidant and so much more. Aids in collagen synthesis, helps with production of progesterone. I mean, there's so many players of vitamin C. It metabolizes cortisol and supports our adrenal glands. But orange juice is like lighter fluid for our blood sugar. And so if we're to consume, especially like those like pint glasses of like, 78 grams of carbs, we're looking at like 6+ slices of bread of a carb impact on our body. And it just rockets up our blood sugar. And that actually can take our white blood cell response off guard. And that's one of the arguments that I find myself continuing to say is like, it's not cold flu viral season, it's pie, cookie, candy season. And, so when we consume sugar, or we have dysregulated blood sugar response, our white blood cell, our neutrophil specifically, that type of white blood cell actually downregulates. And so you're taking your bodyguards off the gate, if you will, from that frequency of sugar. And that's something I'm always harping on for kiddos, because when they're constantly gunking, it's like you got to rest their body to be able to get that battle reset.